Hello. Well, as you will realise from various videos I've made, I like collecting music, artists and people associated with music business, their biographies. And this is one that a friend gave me a while ago now, and it's one of those dip in, dip out books, and it's on the notorious Don Arden with Mick Wall. Ozzy Sharon and My Life as the Godfather of Rock. Well, I was very interested in this book, and what I would say is Don Arden, a very revered, notorious, feared person in the music industry during his tenure anyway. And I've marked a couple of pages in here because, as some of you will realise, my association with Roy Wood being related to him. So I thought I'd look this up anyway. And here Don says, the biggest group I took on after the Small Faces, and the group, though none of us could have known it then, who would eventually transform all our lives beyond recognition, were The Move. They were a good little outfit from Birmingham, whom I had first come across on the Midlands ballroom circuit a few years before, when they were known as Carl Wayne and the Vikings. Like the Small Faces, The Move would never be as big as the Beatles or the Stones, but they had a wonderfully flamboyant image and a consistently winning way with a pop melody, which saw them notch up an impressive string of hits in the late 60s, including top 10 classics such as I Can Hear the Grass Grow, Flowers in the Rain and Fire Brigade. Off the back of that, their manager, Tony Secunda, had built them into a £300 a night act. Not major money, but better than most. That was as far as Secunda was ever going to take them. Though Tony was a familiar face from Brixton days, and I'd always thought of him as a nice, polite young guy, but I didn't think that anymore. I found him virtually unrecognisable from the happy-go-lucky kid we used to know. Now he was a screwed-up middle-aged monster who couldn't manage a pee-up in a brewery. I'm having to change some of the language, for so that YouTube and other people are not offended. He had such crummy attitude that no one wanted to do the group a favour. He was starting to hold them back. He even got them into trouble with the Prime Minister Harold Wilson when he mailed out dozens of copies of Flowers in the Rain in a sleeve with faked pictures of a naked Wilson on it as a PR stunt. It certainly got them on the front pages, but for all the wrong reasons. Wilson had been furious and had actually sued the silly bee. Secunda was even forced to give up all the publishing rights to the song. As a result, he lost them hundreds of thousands of pounds. The problem was, like so many people by then, he was just totally wrecked on drugs the whole time. I kept being told by starry-eyed young bleeps that drugs were mind expanding. All they did for Secunda was turn him into an a-hole, and that was why the group eventually wanted to get away from him, not that he could see it. I'll cut the next piece out. It's really colourful language, let's put it that way. Colourful language throughout, and you do have to take with a pinch of salt some of the things that are said. He then goes on to say, when I became indirectly involved with them through my acquisition of their agency contract with Galaxy, Secunda became distinctly worried. He knew that Charlie Wayne, that's Carl Wayne as we all know, adored me and that it was only a matter of time before he would start talking to me about the group. Initially, though, I had nothing to do with them. Personally, it was David, it's this Don Arden's son, who actually booked them for the agency. He was 17 and determined to prove himself to me, so he worked his backside off, getting them some plum TV bookings and getting their fee up to £500 a night. Quite an amount at that time. David felt he could take them even further than that, if only the group would also start producing credible hit albums. Whether Secunda saw it like that, I don't know. But he certainly didn't appear to encourage them in that pursuit. Once they became famous, I don't think he really did anything for them other than collect the money. Then one day, Charlie Carwayne came to see me with Roy Wood, the singer and writer of most of their hits. They came straight to the point. We've got a new record coming out that we think is our best yet, and we don't like to think Secunda's going to be able to do it justice for us. We want you to manage us, Don. I asked to hear the song. As soon as they played it, I said yes. The record was Blackberry Way, and Roy wasn't exaggerating. It was fantastic, as catchy and inventive as anything the Beatles were coming up with. I could see why they were concerned. Secunda was a washout by then, while I was still king of the hill, the guy Secunda used to run errands for. So we came to an agreement. The record came out before we could even get the paper signed, but as an act of good faith, I began work on it immediately. Needless to say, it smashed straight into the charts on its first week of release, and the group all came rushing round to my office to celebrate. When I shoved a contract under their noses, they couldn't wait to sign. When Secunda found out, he went insane. He was already the type of person whose jealousy could easily cloud his vision, and he hated the fact that I had known him when he was an eager kid looking for a break. When he lost the move to me, he took it personally and started walking round telling everybody how he was going to do me. I heard on the grapevine that he'd gone as far as looking into taking out a contract on me. He was going to hire this cheap East End hood known to everybody. So I had him warned off. Once it became clear that if anything happened to me, he would be dead himself within the hour, he decided to see sense and never bothered us again. Anyway, it goes on and on and on, but I thought I'd read you that part to just give you a perspective in the respect of my contact with somebody that Don Arden dealt with. He certainly had a lot of success, and then there was his involvement with Wizard, ELO, and I can remember Roy playing me the tapes, the master tapes of the first ELO album before it was actually released. In fact, that happened on a couple of occasions, and I thought, oh, that's really exciting. But of course, as time went on, things turned a little bit sour, and I won't go into that, even though Don is no longer with us. But of course, Sharon is, etc., and there's no love lost with her and her father at various times. He went on to manage Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. Then he became solo artist, and on and on and on. This book, it's got several black and white photographs in here of various people that he'd been involved in one way or another. But it is a book worth reading, but you have to decide for yourself which of some of the tales you're prepared to believe, to what extent. It was certainly a massive personality on the music business scene anyway, whether you think that was for good or whether you think it was for bad, whether the artist benefited or whether Don Arden benefited more so. Who's to say? As he's not here anyway to discuss that matter now. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. It's a bit of a long video, this, but I had to read you that part because I thought you would be interested. Still, great book. Thanks for watching, and check out the channel again. And you'll see all the videos that I keep doing nearly every day. Okay, bye for now.